Hey, get ready to dive into the heart of local sports action. Broadcasting live from the heartland of Missouri, welcome to the SEMO Scramble on SEMO ESPN. It's now time to catch up on the latest local highlights, in-depth analysis, and interviews from the Boot Heel and beyond. Here's your host, Rusty Hendricks.
Good Saturday morning to you. It's the SEMO Scramble here on SEMO ESPN Radio, 1220 AM, 93.5 FM, and online, SEMOESPN.com. I'm Rusty Hendricks. Glad to have you with us and joining us here on this hot, sweltering another weekend. My goodness. This has been summer's here, right? Summer. We've kind of had a reprieve earlier in the year. We had a lot of rain. Honestly, this summer, it's been warm. Obviously, it's been hot at times, but boy, this past week or so, and it continues over the weekend, and looks like into next week. Yeah, summer's here. Summer is here. So if you have an opportunity, go get yourself by a pool. If you have an opportunity, maybe just stay inside and in the air conditioning, because that's probably the best place to be. But, boy, I tell you what, this weekend, special for me. Tomorrow is my daughter's birthday. So she's going to turn 2, little Raina. She's going to turn 2 tomorrow. We're going to celebrate just with some family, so it's a very small shindig. Going out today, spend a little time with her and my wife after the show this afternoon. We're going to try not to get too hot. But, yeah, excited. We're going to, do some playing and stuff. We've got excited for some of the presents and things like that we got for her. Last year we thought, okay, give her a little smash cake for turning 1. Wasn't overly into the cake. I didn't smash it per se. Did get the hands dirty a little bit. So we'll see how this year's go. It's weird. We have had, obviously celebrated other birthdays with other family members. She's not a big fan of the birthday song, Happy Birthday. So we're going to be interested to see how that goes today if we sing Happy Birthday to her. But again, tomorrow turning 2, baby boy Riley, he's right at, 4 weeks now. So right at 4 weeks. So, man, time is flying by, folks. I tell you what, it is, again, hectic in the Hendricks household. For those, maybe just finding out, starting a new role with River Radio. It's crazy right now. It's a whirlwind for yours truly. So appreciate those that have, commented or sent messages of support. Appreciate that. And, it's going to be a day-by-day process for me trying to learn my new position and, just trying to get a hang of things and, take it all in. And, as we go, maybe try to see if we can make some improvements here or there. And, yeah, excited. Spending some extra time here at the radio station and excited for what's in store. And, yeah, I'll tell you what, God is good. God is good, I can tell you that. Has blessed our family. All right. Cape Catfish, I gotta open with them, okay? I know it's been a week, right? It's been a week since they played, but covering them, I tell you what, wrapped into the Catfish and what they were able to do. I just want to put a bow on it, and then we won't talk about it for another year or whatever. But put a bow on it. I want to give an opportunity to play a few highlights from that championship series. So. This past weekend, the Catfish, they opened up, had a 3-game series for the championship. Final 2 teams left, opportunity to win in the Prospect League. Again, 20 teams in the Prospect League, all of them, college-age players. It's a wood bat league. It's an opportunity for players to showcase themselves, not only for other colleges, but for, pro scouts as well. And the Cape Catfish, even though it's not a pro league, but it's a college league, but it's also, amateur, if you will, but it's also really good baseball. And it's really entertaining. There are some elements of Savannah Bananas, in between innings and things of that nature. It's very family-friendly, and I'll give credit to the Cape Girardeau community really connecting and, getting on board with the Catfish. I had a buddy of mine that, reached out to me on, I think it was Saturday, or was it Sunday? No, it was Sunday. It was Sunday, the final game of the series, and he's like, hey, my son and I want to come to the game. We've never been before, but, we obviously seeing the news and seeing there's a championship game, thought, we want to come. So that's exciting. That's fun for me to be able to see and to say. So, again, the Catfish swept up, myself into that. And, again, been covering them since their inception in 2019. So just a couple of notes, and we'll get to highlights as they were able to win the championship on Sunday night. They get it by 1 run. It was a record as far as the prospect leagues. They've been around since 2009. They formed earlier. It was called the Central Illinois Collegiate League. They kind of reformed in 2009. They kind of changed things again throughout. But so 2009, kind of how we look at the inception of the prospect league. So that's where like the records and things like that are set. So we're decent sample size, 15 plus years. So look, Catfish record for the shortest or least amount of, run differential between two teams for the championship. Just 1 run separating the 3 games. So that's really impressive. But the Catfish broke 8 team records this year. Was awesome. One of those records was they had a 20-game winning streak at one point. That was a record. They broke a record for the most wins total during the regular season for the winning percentage. Broke a record for the fewest losses. Broke a record for the most runs scored, the most RBIs, the most sacrifice flies. Those are all records as a team they broke. They even have an individual award as well that they broke in the Prospect League, and that was Colin Sinkpill, possibly their MVP of the league. He broke the batting average record, which was .430, and he ended up with a .432 batting average on the summer during the regular season. So that was really impressive. They went 4-1 in the playoffs. They now, they've in their playoff history, they have 76% winning percentage in the playoffs. That is awesome what they've been able to accomplish. 14 playoff wins. Was it 15 now? Something like that. I forget now. But just what they've been able to accomplish since they entered the league in 2019, the most wins ever in the Prospect League. That's awesome. During that span, again, they win their 3rd championship overall. They win back-to-back. They won last year in 2025. They win again this year in 2026. Just a special season and just a lot of fun. And I hope those that tuned in, and we had a lot of, people tuning in on our streaming service, over the air as well, even on the Prospect League Network. So that was amazing as well. So a ton of people checked it out. Here are the highlights. We'll play it real quick. The highlights from the championship series night, the final game that is on Sunday night. Check it out.
Villanueva down the line. It's fair. 2 runs are going to score to tie it up. Just like that, we got a new ball game. 4-4. Britton up the middle, and a hit, and the Catfish have taken the lead. Here comes another. The throw in. He is safe. 2 runs score, and just like that, the Catfish have taken the lead for the first time tonight. Struck him out. O'Neal with a yell off the mound. He does it again. Back-to-back innings. Leaves the tying run stranded at 3rd. And a swing. Here is O'Keefe. He throws to first.
Got him.
And they got it. That's a fair ball. Oh, that's how we end it. What a team. What a ride. from start to finish, the best team in the Prospect League. Champions in 2026 and back-to-back, the Cape Catfish.
All right, that's how it sounded here on SEMO ESPN Radio. Again, had a lot of fun and could hear the excitement there from Catfish fans alike. So, again, appreciate those that tuned in and joined us for that. All right, so a game here coming up, the Kansas City Chiefs. They're going to be starting their preseason. You can hear the game on our sister station, Real Rock. We'll cover them all year long on Real Rock 99.3. Mitch Holtis and the gang for the Chiefs Radio Network. Will Patrick Mahomes play? According to Andy Reid, what do we think?
There's a pretty good chance I don't play him. Percentages are leading that way. And I don't know if I'll play him the second or third game. I mean, I don't know that. So.
All right. Doesn't know if he's going to play him. Patrick Mahomes, how we getting ready? How we feeling after the injury?
If not, I'll be as locked in as I am during the game, and try to get myself as ready to go for the game. So it's just a process of trying to make sure you're ready for the season, and whatever coach thinks best, I'll do.
All right. So he's going to be ready no matter what. Again, that's cuts from Reid and Mahomes as they get ready to go. So, again, probably not going to be seeing Mahomes here early, but kind of amazing. You know, it was initially expected after his injury and his surgery that, hey, he's probably not going to be ready until halfway through the season. Now it looks like he's going to be ready game one. Now they're going to, I think, baby him early on in the season, make sure that he stays healthy. It's going to be a big key. I think just injuries in general for the Chiefs, but especially on the offensive line. You have Simmons, Sunamatai, Humphrey, Smith, and Benson as their scheduled starters. I'm excited to see, Kenneth Walker, what he can do at the running back position this year. Can the Chiefs, really have a better running back room this year? And, Rashee Rice, what's the status with him? Xavier Worthy, can he take the next step? Tyquan Thornton, you get Travis Kelce back. But it's gonna be contingent on their defense. Karlaftis and Jones through the middle. You have Bolton and Tranquil. You have Snead back. And then some of their younger guys, Delaney, Connor, things like that. Can they step up for the Chiefs as well? So interested to see how that goes. Not going to be totally tuned into the preseason and saying, okay, this is what's going to happen. This Chiefs team didn't play well. They're not going to be very good this year. I do think they can have a solid year. Are they going to be towards the top team in the AFC? I'm not going to go on a limb that far, but I think they could have a good season. So interested to see, again, that starts today, and then obviously just a couple of preseason games and a regular season starting here before you know it. All right, so that means also high school football is coming. High school football is on the cusp. So the 28th of August is week 1, so we're talking just 2 weeks away from that. 2 weeks away, yesterday. So I went ahead and decided, what, I'm going to take a look at some of these teams, what I think is going to be coming back. I reached out to a few coaches and just to kind of get an idea of what they think as well. And, obviously we don't have the classes yet. That hasn't been decided or the district assignments, things of that nature. So, it's a rough estimate at this point, but kind of breaking it down in classes 4 through 6 and then classes 1 through 3. So I'll give you my top 5 in the area. So we're kind of going from basically St. John down to Kennett. So St. John down to the Boot Hill. So it's a large range area, not necessarily our listener area, but, I'll give it kind of the southeast Missouri area. When it comes to football, I feel like I better open it up to a bigger area. It makes a little bit more sense. We're talking about the SEMO Conference that encompasses those types of teams as well. So that's how we're doing it. All right. Pretty easy to pick. Jackson as my number 1 team in the area overall. The number 1 team in classes 4 through 6. So again, these are kind of rankings, classes 4 through 6. I think Farmington is going to be, right there as a second team. I think they're still another tier down from Jackson. But with Brent Eckley and company, they lost some of their guys last year, and Tatum Tinsley and some of the players that have been good for them. But they're still going to be good. Farmington's going to be up there. I have Cape Central as 3, so they're my number 3 team. I have Poplar Bluff 4, then I have Sykeston at 5. I think it's the chance that Bluff could leapfrog Cape and be that number 3 team. They have their quarterback back. Actually, both of those teams have their quarterback back. What I wonder about Cape Central, they lose their top 2 running backs from last year, and Keyshawn Boyd and Torrance Murray. Can they continue to be a running first team and use that? Aiden McGuire back at quarterback for the Tigers. So, and I still think their defense is going to be pretty solid. So that's why they're at 3. Sykeston lost a lot on offense. They have most of their offensive line back. That's I like. They're going to be a run-heavy offense this year. Can they stop anybody on defense? That's my question with them. They are going to have, again, a couple of key players back, but Sykeston will be at number 5. All right, let's look at classes 1 through 3, kind of my preseason rankings. Again, this can vary as we get throughout the season. It's tough right now not knowing, there's some injuries, to figure out. There's, again, what classes are going to be what. But as going off base somewhat of last year, I have Dexter as number 1. Dexter is my number 1 team, classes 1 through 3. Yes, they lost, Devin Turnbow. They lost some other guys. They still have their quarterback back, and Will Geatley. I still think they're going to be good. Chad Jamerson does a good job with the program there. I think they're going to be good. Number 2, Valley Catholic. They are going to be awesome this year. They returned something like 20-plus guys back from last year. Valley Catholic's going to be really good, and I expect them to make some noise in Class 1 or 2, depending on where they're at. Valley Catholic. Haytai's number 3, and the reason why I have Haytai 3 and not number 2 is just Valley's had Haytai's number over the past couple of years. Haytai, if they stay healthy with J.C. Ford and company, Haytai is going to be awesome. And so I'm excited for that, what they could possibly be this year. Haytai's my number 3 team right now, the preseason. Caruthersville 4, again, they lose Coach Dom. They lose Sammy Bryant, one of the best running backs in the area in a long time. Sammy Bryant was amazing. Caruthersville, though, they still have talent coming back. Are they going to be as good as last year? I don't think so. But Caruthersville right now, number 4. I have St. John as number 5. They had a good year last year, 8-1. I think they could have another good year this year. Again, one of those teams, maybe not quite as good, but I think they're going to be, if they can get in 6-7 games, yeah, I think they can do that. I have Scott City as number 6. Could they take the next step? Maybe they could be improved and even jump up those standings. But right now, Scott City with Chaffee, they're number 6. My number 7 team is Kennett. They made it a step last year. They made an improvement, and I think they're going to do that again this year. I think Kennett will be better. Are they going to be an excellent team? Maybe not. But again, I think they're going to make a big improvement. Another team I think is going to be a big improvement is my number 9 team. We'll talk to them in a moment. But Kennett's one of those going to make an improvement this year. Perryville's number 8. They're still going to be a solid team. Are they going to be Class 3? I think so. They were Class 4 last year. I think they're going to be Class 3 this year, and that will help them tremendously as far as in districts and what they can do and kind of the projection that they could have. Perryville as a number 8 team. Portageville at number 9. That's a team I think can be improved. A great running back at Portageville. They seem like always to churn out good running backs. They seem like always they have an excellent offense. Portageville, number 9 team. And I think Charleston not getting enough love. They have some athletes. They could be a good team as well. They're at my number 10 slot. Other teams possibly in the mix. Saxony Lutheran, Kelly. Those are a couple of the teams that come to mind just outside of my top 10 in classes 1 through 3. I'm interested to see what Saxony will be again this year. I think, again, they're a team that could make some noise. Are they going to be in Class 1 like they were last year? They might be in Class 2. So that could change things. But Saxony, I'm excited to see what they have in the cupboard and what they can do, going from year 1 to year 2 on varsity and how they can improve with O.J. Turner and company there. So those are my preseason rankings. I'll send them out on social media later this weekend, but you guys can argue and banter about it. No one knows, okay? Let me put this out there as a disclaimer. I don't know. This is my educated guess. You don't know either because it's preseason and, flipping over from year to year, we'll find out. Give me a couple of weeks, then we will figure out who these teams actually are. Sometimes even 3-4 weeks it takes to figure a team out. So, again, give it time. Give it time. All right, we're going to take a quick break. Cardinals Cubs talk. Who's going to be called up today? We'll talk about it coming up next. SEMO Scramble here on SEMO ESPN Radio. Got to give a shout out. Look, Hudson Chiropractic has been with me for a while, a couple of years now, helping to sponsor the show. Big shout out to them. I want to also give a shout out to Main Street Title, just joined us as a sponsorship of the show as well. So Main Street Title Insurance, thanks for them for jumping on board and supporting the show and our station. And so again, if others are out there listening, want to support, give me a message, Rusty at riverradio.net. Send it to me and say, hey, I'd like to be a part of the show, I'd like to sponsor. And we'd love to have you a part and to being a part of the program. And again, thanks to those Main Street Title and Hudson Chiropractic for supporting local high school athletes, regional sports, and the teams that matter to you. All right. Some of the teams maybe that matter to you, Cardinals and Cubs. Maybe you're a Cardinals fan, maybe you're a Cubs fan. I don't know. We have a lot of Cubs fans in the area. They get the victory 3-0 yesterday afternoon against the Cardinals. Cardinals get just 3 hits. The first, I think, 28 batters of the game was retired on both sides. Give it to Matthew Liberatore. His last 2 starts been pretty good. 5 1/3, 2 hits, 2 runs, 1 walk, 6 Ks. Those 2 runs came in the 6th inning. As he left, George Soriano came in, and he gave up a home run to Seiya Suzuki. That was the difference. The 3-run homer, that was all the runs scored. Boy, Soriano's been giving up the home run ball of late, right? I mean, that is what's going on with that? I mean, he's been pretty good this year, but boy, just leaving a lot of balls in the middle of the plate is Soriano, and he hasn't, you can tell I think he's wearing out a little bit. He hasn't thrown this many innings, I don't know if he's ever have. I know he hadn't done it last year. So something to monitor with Soriano and others in the bullpen as well. Of course, you don't have Romero. The bullpen has been better, I think, of late. I think Stanek's been pretty good. O'Brien's kind of recalibrated as well. That's good to see. But again, the Cardinals' offense, lackluster, a shutout. And I'll tell you what, man. One thing, give credit to this guy. I don't know who he is. On my drive home, on the way to my house, there's a guy that's a Cubs fan. He has the Cubs banners. And what he does every day, anytime the Cubs win, he'll throw up the white flag with the W on it, with the Cubs win, fly the W, right? He does that at his home on the porch. So I don't have to really pay attention to see, whenever, let's say the Cubs are playing some other team. I don't need to know if the Cubs won or not. All I have to do is go on my drive home from work, and I can pass by this guy's house, and he has the W up, or if they don't win, he doesn't have the flag up. So when it's a Cardinals Cubs, and I'm a Cardinals fan, and I drive by and I see that W up, that just kind of digs in a little bit more. So yeah, we'll see if the Cardinals can get it done today. As they will face off against the Cubby Bears at, let's see, what time is that one today? It's going to be on regular programming, Cardinals TV today. It's going to be a 1:20 start. 1:20 start. Michael McGreevy, Matthew Boyd going at it today. Cardinals right now, 3.5 out of the wild card, the third-place wild card spot. You have the Padres has jumped up to the 2nd spot, amazingly. The Diamondbacks and Phillies, you have the Marlins just ahead of the Cardinals. Cardinals right at 500 right now, 61-61. So I want to get into this. since the All-Star break, what do you think the Cardinals' record has been? What do you think? Cardinals are 20th in Major League Baseball. Out of 30 teams, Cardinals are 20th with an 11-15 record. The Phillies are tied with them with 11-15 record. The Marlins are behind them. Remember, they went off of that huge losing streak. The Pirates have really fallen off the table. They're 9-17. They're 28th. But the Cubs, 4th in the league with a 17-9 record. Of course, the Red Sox, number 1, Rays 2, Braves 3, have played well. The Padres have gotten hot. They're 4th. Tigers have been hot. The Astros have been hot. And the Brewers have been pretty solid as well. And the Reds have been pretty good. They're 15-10 since the All-Star break. So the Cardinals, 20th in Major League Baseball since the All-Star break. Again, their schedule over the last couple of months, one of the easiest in all the baseball. Can they make up some ground? They could. They could. What have they done over the last 15 games offensively? They're 19th in runs scored are the Cardinals in the last 15 ball games, last 15 days, rather. 15th in Major League Baseball with a 245 average. 15th in walks drawn with 46. I told you the 19th in runs. They're averaging 4 runs a game. That's it, 4 runs a game. Some days that'll be good enough. A lot of days it won't. I think they need to get a little bit better in that category. And this is the kicker. They are last in Major League Baseball in slug. Last in home runs with 9. That is tied for last. 9 home runs over the last 15 days. So, again, Cardinals offense needs to be better, but 3.5 out. Are you saying there's a chance? And the Cardinals finally make a decision to bring up one of their top prospects in Joshua Baez. Why is it taking so long? Because of the rookie rule to where the player has to be under a certain amount of games, certain amount of plate appearance, things like that, so they can retain the rookie status for the next year. That is why. Because the Cardinals want to have and can have another year of control for Joshua Baez. They want to have his rookie status intact for next year. That is why they haven't brought him up earlier. So it's taken this long. They decided to bring him up during the Cubs series. Cesar Prieto is going to be down, sent back down to the minors. And Joshua Baez is now going to be starting today in the Cardinals lineup for the St. Louis Cardinals, a guy who led all of minor league baseball with 34 home runs, 34 of them. Very impressive. He went through a little stretch after the All-Star break in his own right. Well, he struggled a little bit, but he's gotten back over his last 7, 8, 9 games. He's batting around 345 with a few dingers and RBIs as well. So he's gotten better. He's been pretty good, and they decided, you know what? It's time. They're going to bring him up. I love it. I assume he's going to be patrolling left field mostly. So that means that, a third base is going to be, Blaze Jordan, you're going to be a Fermin, those two in particular, maybe a Torres here or there. Those are your kind of guys at third with, Church, and then Pereira, one of the new guys, he's going to be those two in center field. So we'll see. Can he make a difference? I hope so, but ultimately I just want to see him get reps, get time, build confidence. And that's what I want to ask. I talked to Joshua Baez earlier in the season. This was during the Cardinals caravan before the season started. I was able to catch up with Joshua Baez, and he talked about, okay, what would it mean to him and his family to join and be in the big leagues? How is he preparing for the season? Check it out, Joshua Baez.
Yeah, super focused. Right after the season, I've took a 10-day break and then went right back to work, knowing that 2026 means a lot. It means more than last year, so just trying to be prepared for that opportunity to come.
What seemed to click for you? What specifically made a difference?
My confidence, just me going out there knowing that I deserve to be there and just playing like it and just trusting my game.
What are some things that you're trying to be intentional about in your workouts and on your swing and things that you're trying to improve?
Just, trying to train just game-like, just so when the game happens, is not something different. It's something that I've practiced before. Goals is to stay healthy. Just come out, just every single night, be positive, and just try to, just get the team to win.
It's the most excited I have been probably for a hitter to come up in a long time for the Cardinals. So, again, I'm not necessarily expecting a guy that's going to hit a bunch of home runs when he comes up. I'm not going to expect a guy that's going to hit for average. So there's going to be a struggles. But can he get a taste to help him for next year? That's what I want to see. Get him a few at-bats to figure out, okay, this is how guys are pitching me. This is how I need to adjust for next year. So I want to see him put the ball in play, and I want him to see they hit the ball hard, and I want to see what he can do, as far as defensively and running the bases as well. So Joshua Baez, let's go. Back with the Cardinals, up for the first time, making his Major League debut today. All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk a little SEMO football with FCS analyst and insider Craig Haley. He's going to join us next, talking a little SEMO football. You don't want to miss it. We'll be right back. Welcome back in. It's the SEMO Scramble here on SEMO ESPN Radio, 1220 AM, 93.5 FM, and online, SEMOESPN.com. And happy to be joined by Craig Haley, who covers the FCS football. He does it for Stats Perform and for the Analyst.com. So, Craig, thanks for joining me today. How we doing?
Doing real well, Rusty. Looking forward to the season. Hoping for a good season out of SEMO.
So one of the reasons, obviously, why we had you on is because recently with the Analyst, you posted some of your predictions, your previews for the different conferences, one of those being the Ohio Valley Conference. So in your predictions, you had UT Martin as the number one team, and that is understandably so. Obviously, with Tennessee Tech leaving the conference, you have SEMO as the number 4 team pegged in your prediction ranking. So first off, let's get into UT Martin as the number 1 team coming back. What makes them, in your opinion, the top team to beat in the OVC?
Well, it's funny, in a down year like last year, you look at 6-6. I mean, obviously they play an out of conference schedule that's a little rugged, but still 6-2 in conference. I mean, they're still a very strong program. Certainly the most consistent program in recent years under Jason Simpson. I mean, the last 5 seasons, last year being, the only year they didn't share the title, the 27-6 in the conference the last 5 seasons. A lot back on offense and adding a few transfers. I just think they're the team to beat. They also get, Lindenwood and Gardner-Webb at home. SEMO, a rival in the final game on the road. I just think it's set up for them to have a big year.
So you have SEMO as number 4. It was a tough year last year for them. Injuries didn't help them either. Do you see them, making improvements this year? I mean, what do you think about this year's version of the Red Hawks?
Well, they're not going to go 4-8 like last year. They're going to be better than that. And as you know, the last 2 times prior to that where they had 4-win seasons, they bounced back with 9. Now, I'm not saying they're going to bounce back with 9 wins this year, but they're certainly going to have more than 4, I would think. Coach Tuke is an outstanding coach. I think the loss of Casey McCoy is certainly, Casey, is always getting that wrong. Going to hurt them, on defense. But I just think they have enough weapons on offense spread it around. I think the schedule does shape up for them to, have a decent non-conference season to gel. Then they're at home for a couple conference games. I think they're just, ripe to bounce back after last year.
Now, according to the OVC preseason poll put on by the coaches, we mentioned UT Martin. Yeah, they're first in their poll as well. They have SEMO as the number 2 team, Lindenwood 3, Gardner-Webb 4. And I'm curious your opinion on, you see the 2, 3, 4 teams with SEMO, Lindenwood, Gardner-Webb. Could you see any combination of those 3 throughout the year potentially kind of get jumbled? They seem fairly similar. Is that an accurate statement?
It's a good point, Rusty. I mean, I think no matter how you go 2, 3, and 4 out of these 3 teams, you almost feel like you have it wrong because you know just how dangerous the other 2 are. Obviously, the coaches have great respect for Southeast Missouri and the program they've built. I just think Gardner-Webb, that was my second choice, and obviously they were 4th in the league poll. I think Carson Gressick is going to have a huge year. Obviously it's a terrific offense. I mean, their question is, they seem to have a lot of new coaches in recent years, and they have a new one in Chris McCullough. But, Cole Pennington is an experienced quarterback. I just like what they have on offense. I think Lindenwood, if you like offense, that's them. I mean, they have a ton back in the skills positions. Really have, risen as a program and a consistent program now. In the OVC. I agree. You can go any direction you want out of those 3. And again, not feel confident just because the other 2 are right there with whoever you pick second.
I'm curious your opinion. You obviously cover the, FCS level at the national level and across the country, but also, you keep an eye on the OVC. And Tom Matukowicz, the head coach for the Southeast Missouri State Redhawks, now 13th year with the program. There was some buzz in the off season about a viral video that went out. I'm sure you probably saw that, but I want to know maybe your assessment of Tom Matukowicz with his time with the Redhawks, kind of his standing within the coaching community and what he's been able to accomplish at SEMO. Just your, I guess, understanding and your perception of him as a head coach.
Well, it's hard to believe it's been 13 years now. I mean, he's done a great job over time. Certainly, has led him to playoff appearances and league titles. Always a dangerous team. I think he's, done a solid job over time. I mean, the 4 wins, 9 wins is a little odd to keep doing it. And hopefully, for them that they bounce back from last year. But I do think Coach Duke is done a terrific job over time and is well respected around the FCS for the program they have. I mean, look at the rivalry they have with Southern Illinois. I mean, Southern Illinois is a strong Missouri Valley program, and the Red Hawks give them fits all the time. So I just think overall people realize it's a solid program year in and year out.
So I wanted to play this clip real quick, put on by the OVC, part of their previews of Tom Matukowicz, and he talks about the depth of this team being a strength and about running the football a point of focus. So listen in for just a moment.
Our biggest strength of the team, I would say, is depth. That is something we've really tried to prioritize. We've had a lot of injuries the past 2 years. And then I think our biggest area that we're going to improve is being able to run the football this year.
So, again, he points those 2 things out as being issues, obviously, in the past for SEMO. To me, it starts with the O-line play. They were second to last in the OVC in rush offense, last in sacks against, last in penalties. But they have a lot of guys back, and they're high on this O-line group from what I understand. So do you predict that these will be areas of improvement for SEMO?
I think so, because the league overall lost a lot. I mean, there's a lot of new faces, interjecting with the returnees. So I think they have enough talent. I mean, to have 2 capable runners in Spain and Rubel, that goes a long way. I mean, Sam Reynolds, Rashad Turner, I mean, they're decorated up front. I think it always starts with the run game, and you don't want to be second from last in your conference in rushing yards per game. I think that is something they clearly making it a point of emphasis this year. But to really go deep, at running back is going to be key for them, as the season advances.
So part of that could potentially help their running game is if they have a guy starting in Chance Wilson. I wonder what you think about the quarterback situation at SEMO, what you can tell us about Chance Wilson, a guy that is transferred from Montana State, a guy that has the ability, not just with his arm, Craig, but can do it with the ground game and with his speed as well.
Well, I do think it's still an open competition at quarterback. I mean, Wilson's one of the 3. I think Johnny Weber coming back, he really impressed down the stretch. Braylon Ragland from Alabama State and Memphis before that. I mean, he's just looking for an opportunity to play. But Chance Wilson, I mean, you're coming from a national championship program in Montana State, and yes, he's very mobile. He could run the ball. When he's in open space, he's a difference maker with running the ball. I'd say he's a capable passer, more like manage the game, but very well liked. He's going to command an offense. But at the same time, I just think, that competition is still a little bit wide open and a couple of weeks left to decide who's the starter.
Also, too, without McCoy Casey trying to have that standout edge rusher, a team in SEMO last year, worst in the conference in passing defense, second to last in turnover margin. How do the Redhawks kind of get back and getting to the quarterback? What do you think that that's an area maybe to circle early on in the year to keep an eye on, or is that something that can improve? What do you think?
You definitely have to circle it, like you say. I think losing McCoy Casey sets them back. I mean, in some ways, you don't want to fully adjust what you're doing, but at the same time, they have to realize you might not get the pressure on an opposing quarterback like you would with him in the alignment. I think the linebackers have to really step it up to mitigate some of the loss of Casey. Patterson on the back end is a proven player, proven tackler. I think they'll be improved, but I mean it's also a league that's kind of offensive heavy coming back this year. You look at the rosters, you're going to side a little bit more with the talent on offense than you do on defense throughout the league. So I do think other teams could have some problems on defense, but again, they just have to mature over time, and the Redhawks and use that non-conference to figure it out before they really get into the meat of their schedule.
Again, talking things over here with Craig Haley, who covers the FCS football for Stats Perform and for the Analyst.com. So, Craig, last thing, and I'll let you go. Just kind of an overall overview of the entire FCS. Who do you think could be the teams to really beat, to the teams that you're keeping an eye on? A couple in there could actually, be the teams to win it all.
That's a great question, Rusty, because, you would think in a year where North Dakota State's not there anymore that it would really open things up, but it still seems like a small group of legitimate title contenders, and it's I think Montana State is a clear number one, going with a chance to go back to back here because their nucleus really returned pretty much intact for the most part. Other than losing some of the seniors and maybe in the secondary, Montana, their rival, South Dakota State and Illinois State. I mean, you're talking still the Big Sky and Missouri Valley being the two dominant conferences. I think UC Davis is ready for a huge jump this year. They've been to the quarterfinals the last 2 years. I think they're a legitimate contender with the talent they have back. Tarleton State, the UAC is really coming on strong. Villanova has their quarterback back after a court decision. That's going to help them. They went to the semifinals last year. It's a very deep set of contenders, but at the same time, when you're talking about the very power programs, you still lean towards that Montana State, Montana, South Dakota State mix, and I would say Illinois State has taken another leap after what they accomplished last year.
Yeah, absolutely. Craig, really appreciate the time. Good stuff, great information, and we hope that we can do this again in the future.
Certainly. Pleasure speaking to you, Rusty.
Thank you. Have a good one. Welcome back in. It's the SEMO Scramble here on SEMO ESPN Radio, 1220 AM and 93.5 FM. Always catch us online, SEMOESPN.com. And on the podcast page after the show, we'll have all the nuggets and interviews for you from today's action. I do want to mention again, big thanks to Craig Haley for joining us a little bit ago. He, talking things over and previewing SEMO football. And again, the latest news, if you haven't heard, McCoy Casey, who is a preseason third-team All-American coming in, an edge rusher, a guy that expected it to be a big part of the defense for the Redhawks this year. He is no longer with the squad. We don't have reasoning for that, but that is the latest update. Again, no longer with the team. So I wanted to make sure that was clear from that interview. But all right, we are excited to be joined now as some local athletes, a part of the AAU Junior Olympics, shining, doing some great things, and representing the Southeast Missouri area well. And from Heartland Gymnastics, so I have Chrissy Mayberry, Audrey Knight, and Lakin Williams joining me this morning. Ladies, how we doing?
Hey, Rusty, we are great.
Glad to have you with us. Just exciting news. That, again, a lot of success that's able to compete there at the AAU Junior Olympics in Des Moines, Iowa. Just some great news, and just wanted to touch base and really give you guys some love here this morning on what you were able to accomplish there. So I guess, first of all, I got to ask from each of you, what was the experience like? How much fun was it during your time there?
Yeah, Rusty, we appreciate you having us on, and we're so excited to be able to celebrate these girls and their accomplishments. We know how hard they worked. We know how hard the coaches, supported them and everything that went into it. So we love that we get to come and celebrate what they've done. And just the fact that we had 10 athletes participate this year at Junior Olympics who qualified, and then they all placed. We're super, super proud of them. But I'll let Audrey and Lakin tell you about their experience there and kind of some exciting things that happened.
Yeah, I think that just qualifying and getting the opportunity to compete at the Junior Olympics is a very huge accomplishment for them. And getting to see their hard work translate into such a strong performance made it even more special. And representing our gym was really exciting.
It was really fun. The whole event was very high energy, and getting to see everybody compete was so awesome.
That is great. Maybe Chrissy or Audrey could help us out with this. Can you guys go over the accomplishments and some of the placements during this event and kind of go over that with us, if you don't mind?
Yeah, I would love to share some of the accomplishments of that. One of the exceptional performances was by Lauren. She earned first place in floor, Laurel Irvin, in the Excel Silver category. So first place, and then she came within 0.25 of earning a spot in finals. So we're super proud of that performance. She placed 7th all around. And then also in the Excel Silver division, Lauren Baldwin had a really, really strong performance, and she earned 4th place in actually 2 events. And we had a lot of really high scores. Lakin here, who is with us, her strongest performance was in floor, and she received 3rd place in floor and also had a really high all-around score. So we had lots of girls who placed really high, earned medals in their events, and then placed in the all-around scores, earning spot in a podium. So not only did we have 10 athletes from our competitive team who qualified and got to compete in Junior Olympics, each and every one of them placed in an event and had a really high all-around score.
Yeah, that is really impressive. You mentioned, Laura Irvin, what she was able to accomplish, Lauren Baldwin, but, Kinley Phillips, Nora LaValle, Camille Williams, Summer Carnes, all of them, and Olivia Schoolman as well, who finished 6th all around and placed 2nd on the beam in the Excel Diamond division. So, again, all of those pretty impressive. I did want to move on and to touch base with just, as a coach, Audrey, and, as someone, Chrissy, that, oversees, Heartland Gymnastics, that's got to make you guys very, very proud to see what they were able to do. So talk a little bit about that, about the accomplishments. Are you surprised by the results at all, or is it kind of like, yeah, we kind of knew this was going to happen?
I mean, we are very proud of them, and I wouldn't say that we're surprised by these results because we know how hard they work and how much time and effort they put into the gym. And seeing them perform that well under pressure was definitely exciting. It takes a lot of dedication and time for them to work on these routines and get these skills down to be able to perform so well at such a big event and under so much pressure.
Yeah, and that's something that Audrey knows firsthand really, really well because she was in competitive gymnastics most of her life. So she has been in these athletes' shoes before and knows exactly what it takes and the pressure they have to perform under and how hard it is to achieve those results and what kind of support it takes from their coaches to get there as well.
And for Lakin, I wanted to ask you, too, how proud are you of what you were able to accomplish? I mean, did you surprise yourself at all by how it all went down?
I'm so proud of myself and of my teammates, too, because they put a lot of work into going to Junior Olympics, and all of them did so good as well as me. I was not very surprised by my results because I work very hard in the gym, and I'm here almost every single day trying to perfect my routines and get them up to how I want them.
So, again, talking things over with the group from the Heartland Gymnastics that took 10 athletes to the Junior Olympics this year. And, again, Chrissy Mayberry, Audrey Knight, and athlete Lakin Williams joining us. So, I'll ask this question to either Chrissy or Audrey here. You know, Lakin just alluded to putting in the work, putting in the hard work. So tell us a little about that hard work, how much these athletes prepare, how much dedication and time that they put in, and what the training looks like.
Yeah, so training for an event like Junior Olympics, it's definitely goes even beyond just the seasonal training and the training that happens all season long for a team. Because really that training for these athletes starts when they are so young, so young. One thing we're really proud of at Heartland is, those core skills that we teach whenever the kids are young. Our preschool gymnastics head coach has a background in early childhood. She's a parent educator of parents or teachers. So those athletes start and they're learning skills appropriately. They're learning appropriate technique, but also at a development in a developmentally appropriate way. So that training starts way before we even realize, but I will let Audrey tell you about how much work goes into it during the season.
Yeah, for these athletes, it takes a lot of dedication to be at this level. These girls train multiple days a week for several hours at a time. They're constantly working on their strength, their flexibility, skills, keeping up with their routines and consistency. We're always looking for ways to improve and how we can keep learning from every season. We keep developing every day and work on our routines and keep our consistency up.
Yep, and I think that development goes for the athletes, but as well as the coaches. So we want our coaches to continue learning. We want them to stay up to date on the latest safety techniques. We want them to stay up to date on the latest routines and also be supportive emotionally. One thing I've noticed about gymnasts is sometimes that they have so much athleticism, but they need that extra support kind of to break through that mental block that they sometimes have because they want to perform so well and they set such high standards for themselves. So making sure that our coaches are, continuing their education and that they're putting in the work too.
And just a reminder of, again, for those tuning in, listening, again, talking things over with Heartland Gymnastics, able to take 10 athletes to the Junior Olympics and confirm or make sure this is correct. I believe ages 9 through 16 competing during this. Is that correct?
Yes, ages 9 through 16. So we had really, really young athletes competing. And then levels Excel Silver, Excel Bronze, all the way through Lakin here, who is a level 8 gymnast. So, we had a variety of levels in the Excel category, and then Lakin, who was a level 8 gymnast. And with each level of gymnastics, the skills get harder, the routines get harder, and the competition gets harder. So, we're really, really proud of these girls.
All right, this question is for Lakin Williams, local athlete. My question would be, why? Why do you, be a part of gymnastics? What is your goal? What's the reasoning for performing Is it because of you just enjoy it for fun? Is it for competition? Is it because you're looking for future opportunities? Why are you a part of this and, the reasoning behind it?
I love doing gymnastics. It's a part of my everyday routine, and it's just really fun. I like pushing myself so that way I feel more achieved in some way. And I don't feel that I need to go to college for gymnastics, but I think it would be a very awesome opportunity to see what it's like doing that. It just really makes me happy to do it.
That's great. This is for Chrissy or Audrey as well. When you're talking about Heartland Gymnastics and you're trying to figure out ways to continue to evolve, to improve, to get better, not just, with coaching and with your athletes, but just as an organization as well, how do you do that?
Yeah, so all of our coaches are USAG certified judges. They continuously do education through USA Gymnastics on proper safety techniques. Also, an important part of that is our head preschool coach, Stephanie Ellinger, with her background in child development and early childhood education. And like I said, making sure the teeniest gymnasts, the little guys in our gym, have that proper foundation, that they're taught that skills in a way that's developmentally appropriate for their brains and their bodies. And then kind of make sure that they're progressing through those skills and techniques in a way that they can achieve their greatest goals that they want to accomplish, both in the gym and out of the gym. Gymnastics provides so many skills to young athletes that are beneficial inside the gym, but outside of the gym as well, just in their everyday life.
All right, and this is speaking to maybe the prospective parents, and this could be myself as well. I have a daughter who is turning 2 tomorrow, and so maybe we got a little time here, but potentially in the future we could look towards gymnastics for my daughter as well. So I'm curious, what would you say to parents who might be interested in bringing their kids to you? What would be your selling point?
I think what makes our program really special is that we care about each individual athlete as a person. Of course, we want them to become great gymnasts and be successful in gymnastics, but we also want them to be able to build that confidence and the discipline and a strong work ethic that comes with being a gymnast. We want them to enjoy coming to the gym and feel proud of what they accomplish, because this is like a second home to most of our athletes, and we want them to feel proud of themselves and feel accomplished in a way that is special to them.
Yeah, like earlier I was talking with Lakin, and I think she said it best. I asked her what Heartland meant to her, and she said that Heartland is family. And 2 is not too young. Bring her in. We have a parent and top program that kids can start out in, but gymnastics is a foundation for it can be a launching pad for almost any sport. But yeah, we want those, we want to instill confidence and give kids confidence, like Audrey said, not only in the gym, but outside of the gym, just all around.
Last thing, and this is a little off the cuff, but I do want to ask Lakin Williams, our athlete joining us this morning, part of Heartland Gymnastics, and again, competing there at the Junior Olympics. Do you have a favorite, event that you're a part of, Lakin? Something you enjoy to do the most? I mean, what would that be?
I like doing vault and floor because you just get to soar through the air, and it's so fun. You just flip around, and you just want to keep coming back and doing it more.
And I know you mentioned about the family. I'm assuming that you have, built Lakin some lifelong friendships through this as well. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right. Ladies, I really appreciate it. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say with those friendships, definitely with the girls on the team, but I mentioned earlier that Audrey grew up in competitive gymnastics her whole life. I was one of her coaches when she was younger, but also we have another coach that grew up with Audrey through competitive team, and now they're both coaching together here. So they, definitely those lifelong relationships are definitely built.
That is awesome. Again, ladies, I really appreciate it. 10 athletes, performing and being a part of the Junior Olympics in Des Moines, Iowa, and that's great to see the success from our local area, and we hope that that will continue, and we can continue to celebrate you in the future as well. So, Chrissy Mayberry, Audrey Knight, Lakin Williams, thanks so much for joining me this morning.
Yeah, thank you so much for the opportunity. We really appreciate it. We are so thrilled that we got to celebrate our gymnast accomplishments and all their hard work.
Great. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Thanks so much for them for joining me this morning on the SEMO Scramble. And again, congrats. Congrats to them. Want to celebrate local athletes, and we do have the story up. You can check it out. Posted on our SEMO ESPN and KZIM Facebook pages. We also have it up on KZIM.com. We have that news story up. You can check it out for a little bit more information on that. So, again, congrats to Heartland Gymnastics and, again, performing there at the Junior Olympics. We got a little volleyball in, what was it, last week before? We got a little gymnastics in this week. I love it. And, again, some people may be tuning in, well, I'm here for the Cardinals talk, or I'm here for the football talk, or that's fine. But one of the reasons, again, I've talked about it before, having this show and forming it together. You can find all kinds of shows that talk about Cardinal football. You can have all kinds of shows that talk about the NFL or Chiefs or whatever. You can have shows that talk about even other shows that talk about SEMO or, just other college sports. How many, you don't have many people talking about our local athletes. And that's why, I wanted to start this show to give more love, to give more opportunities for interviews, for information, to be able to spread that out and to, get that information out to people where it become our high school, athletes, where it become things like this. We're talking about, gymnastics or volleyball or, we've had pickleball on before, whatever it is. We want to be able to share that with the local community and celebrate that when there's times to do that. So, again, I hope you've enjoyed it as much as we have enjoyed bringing it to you. It's the SEMO Scramble here on SEMO ESPN Radio. We'll get more into high school football action coming up next weekend. We'll try to get some coaches' interviews to talk to us. We're expected to have Coach Took to talk to us next week as well as they preview the men's prayer breakfast coming up, brought on by SEMO Athletics and the SEMO football team. So we'll try to get a talk with Coach Took, get his thoughts on some things in the upcoming season for SEMO football. So get more information into that. We'll continue to talk Cardinals baseball as well and see what Joshua Baez does today as he makes his major league debut. So again, NFL football is coming. College football as a whole is coming. There's a lot to get to as we come up in the next coming weeks. So, again, folks, thanks for joining us. It's been the SEMO Scramble on SEMO ESPN. Have a great day, everybody. Take care. We'll see you next time on the SEMO Scramble.
You've been listening to the SEMO Scramble on SEMO ESPN. Tune in every Saturday morning from 9 to 10 for a dash of hometown pride and the latest news, scores, and stories that matter most to local sports enthusiasts from the Boot Heel and beyond. Right here on SEMO ESPN 1220 AM, 93.5 FM, the SEMO ESPN app, and SEMOESPN.com.